Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. This is AJS72 Ford 390. Today we're going to finish installing the head gaskets and start putting the heads on and the rocker arms, push rods, and all those fun things, and the lifters as well. So the gaskets I'm using are Felpro. That's all I generally ever use is Felpro. These are some really nice head gaskets. They've actually got a silicone rubbery finish on them, and they're just really nice. Felpro always has nice products. I recommend you use their gaskets. This head gasket is a 9511 PT. Really good labeling, you know, up front. So they're just a really nice product, and I've used them on every engine I've ever assembled, and I've never had an issue with gaskets failing, especially, you know, prematurely or because you use a different oil or whatever. They always have a really nice product, and just appreciate their business. I'm gonna lay this one on this side here without dropping it very carefully. Get it over that dowel pin. That's pretty much it. Now we need our other one, and we'll do this side. Okay, so I slapped that other head gasket on there. Now before you install the cylinder heads on these guys, you actually have to install your hydraulic lifters, because the heads will cover at least the front and back ones, if not more. Not sure yet. I have the head out right now. You know, they're brand new cylinder heads. They're actually painted. I don't know how long that paint will last, but if it starts to rust up, then I'll just paint it with some nice gloss high temperature paint to keep it looking nice, since this engine looks so pretty. But we're gonna go ahead and lube these up, and we're gonna start stuffing them down the hole. Got a whole box of them that need to go in there. So, and if you're wondering what part number they are, they're a JB2083. These are also Melling, because Melling is awesome. So they make good stuff, good oil pumps, good hydraulic lifters. They make all sorts of stuff. So, and there's a beautifully machined bottom end. Okay, so now we got all of our Melling hydraulic lifters in the holes. Every one of them in there. We'll probably drip some oil down on them, you know, just to fill the little cavities in them there. Usually when you install lifters, you want to soak them in a bucket of oil, like all the way to the top, to help get the air out, all that fun stuff, get them lubricated internally, and all that fun stuff. But I'm just going to drip some oil on the tops of them, just to get them lubricated and kind of ready to go, because I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to be able to crank this thing over. Hopefully towards the last of this week. So now we got all the lifters in. They've got oil on the tops of them. It'll seep down into them. And then most of the rest of the air will actually bleed out when it goes to fire over. So they might tick a little bit, but other than that, we're going to fill this little cap back up with oil, and we're going to put on our cylinder head. We're going to start putting bolts in. I'm just looking at this cylinder head. This is brand new. Okay, this isn't reman, nothing like that. If you actually look here, it's kind of hard to see with the light. There we go. 5/19 of 2017 is when this thing was cast. And I believe that's the plant number as well. This is a brand new cylinder head, okay? Brand new valve springs, everything's new. Now, I didn't necessarily need to get new heads for this engine because it is an 89, so it had the square rocker bosses on here, which means it's the better casting, stronger. These heads are basically the same thing, but they're a lot beefier, I'm sure, and they actually have better ports on them. They're pretty good size, so the porting on my manifold should match up pretty well. Really nice cylinder head. They even have it painted, you know. So hopefully that'll hold a little bit, and then if not, we'll just shoot it with some gloss high heat paint when I put a set of plugs in here to keep it out of the chambers. This is a really nice head. Like, this is exceptional. I think these heads were $435 when I bought them a couple months ago, and it looks like stainless steel, really, the way they finished the machining on them. Got a little bit of a surface scratch there. It's nothing that the gasket won't take care of. Should be okay. But other than that, they look pretty dang good. Pretty excited. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and slap the cylinder head on here. And clean the surface of it real good. Make sure the surface of the head gasket is clean. These heads, doesn't really matter which side they go on. So we're just gonna go ahead and make sure we line up everything really good on those dowel pins, which is what they're for. We're gonna go ahead and set her down. Just like that. I said earlier, you gotta make sure you put your lifters in first because you obviously can't put them in after the head's on. So these last, probably at least these last two, probably all of them. Probably can't put any of them in with the cylinder head on. So yeah, make sure you get your lifters in first, and then you'll be able to, excuse me, then you'll be able to slap your heads on there. Okay, so now we've got our head bolts. We'll go ahead and start feeding those guys in. And each cylinder has 8 of them. These again are not torque to yield. These are 12.9 grade bolts. So they're really strong. Should be pretty decent. They'll make it so you never have to pull the head off again until you want to mess around inside the engine on purpose. So we're going to go ahead and you want to do this in 3 steps till you hit your final torque. And you want to work your way, you know, crisscross pattern all the way to make sure they go down flat. We're done with that. We're going to go ahead and slap the other cylinder head on here. And we'll start putting the head bolts in that one too, and then we'll torque them together. Okay, so we have the new head. It's ready to go on. It's nice and cleaned up. And it's looking pretty sweet. Just the biggest thing is not dropping the thing. So if we don't do that, we should be in business. And she went right on. Beautiful. So we're going to start installing the head bolts on this side too while we're at it. Okay, the head bolts are all in. They're all hand tight, which is just fine. We're gonna go ahead and get some torques going on, and we'll torque these guys down, and then we should be able to move back on down to the bottom end to get the seals going, get the pan on, and then we'll work on the timing set as well. Okay, I talked to Tom Marana about how much to torque these head bolts. They're basically the same as the bottom end main bolts, so we're going to torque them to 75 foot-pounds. Stock would be 55 foot-pounds, and then you wait 5 minutes, and then you torque them 90 degrees. That's from here to there. Supposed to do this in 3 steps. First step is 22 foot-pounds. Second step is, I think, 35. And the last step is 55 foot-pounds. Then you wait 5 minutes and you crank it to 90 or 90 degree. We're not going to do that. We're going to do 25, 60, 75. So we're going to set this guy up. This is my old torque wrench, but it's still accurate. So we're going to crank her up to 25 or 30. Let's do 30. We'll do 30 first. Okay, number 1, number 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to go to 60. or 55 actually. We'll go to 55. It's 50 and 5. And each time you torque, you want to make sure you do it in one smooth motion. Now we're going to go to 75, which is 20 foot-pounds more than stock. So if you still blow head gaskets after this, you got something else going on. Oh, it looks like we got a wasp on film here. Or actually, that's Yellow Jacket. Final torque. He's interested in the engine, I guess. All right, 75 foot-pounds. Okay, so we got those torqued. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. Probably gonna do the timing chain now. So we're gonna install that, get that timed, and then put the timing cover on. We'll just do all the gasket, all the RTV and everything. Get that set up. And then, oh, I also have to install a seal on that guy too before I slap that on there. There's always something to do. You almost forget all of it. I also need to still install my push rods. What is up with the freaking wasps? Install my push rods and my rockers, and then we'll have to get the manifold finished. I still have to finish porting that. That's almost done. It's pretty close. Go ahead and do the timing set. This is CIC USA. You know, these were made in USA, and they were only like 30 bucks shipped to my house. So pretty cheap, but a good set. Should be fairly decent, and should be fairly easy to install. Kind of a good hint and a good, just a good idea. When you tear these things down, if you're going to use any parts, put them in a sandwich bag and write on there with a really good Sharpie or an extra permanent marker what these are, and that way you guys won't forget, you know, what the bolts go to, and it makes your life a heck of a lot easier. Obviously, we're going to try to do the cam and all that fun stuff right now. So this is the bolt that holds on the timing gear to the cam, and then these bolts hold on, come on, the tensioners and the little guide that's on there. So pretty easy to figure out which one goes to which. We're going to Loctite these as well. And if you're wondering what size of a Torx bit that is, I have a Husky right here. It's a T55 that fits that. Perfect. So that's what we need. I'm sure there's a Torx spec on there, but I have no idea what it is. So here's the entire timing set. You got your tensioner right here. These actually do run off of oil pressure, so it does have a gasket. Make sure that goes on the back there. Don't lose that. And don't pull this pin out till you've got your chain and everything timed and everything. That's it for this video. Stick around for the following videos where I finish installing the timing set and the timing cover, as well as the push rods and the rocker arms. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and as always, have a great day.